All right, everyone. Welcome to the August edition of Inside IATS. Nate Newman, president of IATS, with you today, joined by our special guest, Rihanna Freiberger. She is the athletic trainer at Williamsburg High School in Williamsburg, Iowa. And then she is also co-chairing our secondary schools committee for the Iowa Athletic Trainer Society. Rihanna, thank you very much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Perfect. Rihanna, I hear an ugly, ugly rumor that summer is almost over, and that means school will be starting again soon, correct?
Yep. Unfortunately, we're back in school this week.
So I'm guessing the last couple of weeks of your life have been a little bit busy with some coverage of events and dealing with some athletes again, correct?
Yep, getting back into the swing of fall sports and everyone starting to be back on campus and all of that.
Perfect. Well, thanks for joining us. The key point I want to talk about today is just the secondary schools committee, some things you have done, some things you're thinking about doing more sooner than later, and then some things on the horizon, just to let our membership know what you're doing and what maybe they can get, how they can be involved with your group, how you support them. So let's start first of all. Can you talk about maybe one of the biggest changes this summer, the Iowa High School Athletic Association, the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, made a change to wet bulb globe temperature. Can you talk a little bit about that change and then some ways that the Secondary Schools Committee is helping support those changes?
Yeah, definitely. New for the fall season, it was just released that we are now utilizing wet bulb globe thermometry instead of heat index for our heat safety policies. So rather than looking at what the heat index is, schools should be using the wet bulb globe to determine modifications for practices and competition. In the policy that was released, we have those out. This Sports Medicine Advisory Committee, we have charts in there. We have lots of information that's available online. And then we've also sent out recorded presentations to athletic directors. So that way, if they weren't able to attend the webinar that SMAC put on or the webinar like town hall that Ashley Dickey, the other co-chair, and I did today, if they weren't able to attend that, they still had access to a presentation with further education. So that's the biggest change in secondary schools this year is moving our heat policies to wet bulb globe thermometry rather than heat index.
Perfect. You mentioned some town halls, some webinars. One of the cool things you've been doing in the last year is you've been having some lunch and learn, some webinars, some CU opportunities for our memberships. One of the coolest one back in July, you had newly NATA Hall of Famer Daryl Conway on with you. Can you just talk a little bit about the purpose of those and maybe what people can get out?
Yeah, so we our goal with the secondary school committees, we hope and aim to have at least three, if not more, three or four of those a year, based off of either current like hot topics in secondary school athletics, feedback we've received from our membership in terms of what information we are looking for, and we want to provide opportunities for education and for free to our membership. So we look for what is up and coming maybe in the state of Iowa, what is up and coming in the secondary school setting, where's areas that we know membership is wanting education on, and we are finding volunteers. They've all been volunteering their time to present over the lunch hour, and you get a free one CEU out of it. And that is a big goal for our committees to continue with and continue to offer those so that way we can continue to educate and learn.
Perfect. What are some possible topics this upcoming year that you're thinking about offering lunch and learns on?
Yeah, so some areas that we are really hoping to get into is mental health, like first aid, possibly offering a certification with that via Zoom if possible. With the primary target discussion being how do we manage mental health and first aid training with secondary school setting, where we maybe are lacking some resources within our school or in smaller towns, like what does building that network look like? And then we're also looking into some secondary school athlete nutrition webinars, and we are open to other suggestions. Like we want to hear back from our membership and people that attend. So we're always willing to take suggestions and build from there.
Perfect. If members have possible requests for ideas, how should they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so if you are attending one of our webinars, when you fill out the survey afterwards to get your CEU credit. At the very bottom, we have a question where you can type in your suggestions. If you have ideas in the meantime, we do have an IATS email, the secondary school committee email. It's IATS, IATS, SSC. So there's quite a few S's, IATS Secondary School Committee at gmail.com. You could send those our way, and we have a list compiled, and we look at frequency and like time of the year as well when structuring these.
Perfect. Brianna, thank you very much. One last question for you. What's on the horizon? What are some other things that you're thinking about exploring that'll help IATS out?
Yeah, so within SMAC, so the co-chairs Ashley and I were liaisons for that. So as improvements, policies, and things come with SMAC, we will continue education with that. And then we're dipping our toe, like working towards HOSA conference to advocate for a profession, get students and present students with knowledge and information and maybe resources into like what is athletic training. HOSA conferences, they're students that are already interested in the medical field, and so this is a good way for us to expose our profession and hopefully garner some interest in those younger kids.
Perfect. Brianna, thank you very much. Let me just mention real quick, just so all IATS members know, IATS is a liaison to SMAC, the Sports Medicine Advisory Committee. Brianna and Ashley do that. And then we have other IATS members who are actually voting members on there as well. So IATS is well represented. Athletic trainers are well represented on there as well. Let me end, Brianna, I'm going to selfishly take just a couple of seconds for a couple of announcements here real quick. Know that IATS elections, a call for our executive director will open up in September. So we have to elect that position this fall. So make sure you look at that. Right now, there are a whole bunch of award nominations out there for NATA, for MATA. IATS will be coming soon as well. Please nominate your friends. Please nominate your colleagues. Look at what awards are out there. We're busy. We have to just be very intentional about nominating those. So please do that. And then IATS, the executive council will have a big meeting in September trying to do some big strategic planning, and we'll let you know about that after that is done. So Rihanna, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for the time. I'm sure you got to practice eventually to get back to here today.
Yeah.
So there is that. So I'll let you go. To all the members, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in September.